All right. So, Chandan, how do you view these developments? Of course, the most obvious hunch is that BJP is trying to engineer a split within the TMC. How would you see this development? And do you think that it's so easy for BJP to do it, or the process looks quite complicated?
Nilu, I may start with this particular context where in 1998, when Congress was split and Trinamool was formed, that was a particular moment when most of the senior Congress leaders declined to join Trinamool Congress. So that was a different scenario later, how it developed and how 2021, again the setback for Trinamool, Mamata Banerjee only won singularly as an MP and joined BJP government in Vajpayee's government in the center. The same time, 2006 and onward, if you see that the changes in the horizon, and finally the Congress 2019 had to ally with the Trinamool Congress, and finally 2011, the result everyone knows. But the particular moment, as you are asking me whether or not BJP is planning to defect, what you call the defection engineering, defect in Trinamool Congress, I don't believe so. Exactly, being a political element in Bengal and doing the round, knowing the things around in Bengal, I don't think, specifically for few reasons, BJP is not going to do much on it, but it is Trinamool Congress by itself. I just come to the second character later, but the first thing is where BJP itself has earned 208 seats. It is no less number out of 294. So naturally, there would be the certain substantial berth to be given those had been elected by the BJP tickets, as well as there are the positions to be given. And finally, there had been a rift between BJP, the old guard BJP, and the new one joined the BJP. So the new leadership in BJP, which mostly came from Trinamool Congress. If you're just going to look into the balance, then finally you find the balance is where 63%, as we have calculated, the new BJP in the BJP as 208 seats won, where the poorer section, being the old guard BJP, those have been in the far, in Bengal. I'm talking about Bengal itself. But the BJP president here in Bengal is the old guard BJP, Samik Bhattacharya. So naturally, there will be the certain equation has to be performed. And here, Subhendu Adhikari himself, a defector of Trinamool Congress, and joined BJP, as we know. So certainly, there is a popular and there is a particular functional, philosophical, ideological area. So these would might take a contrast. So naturally, I don't think BJP is not going to defect much onto Trinamool Congress. But if you are going to check on Trinamool Congress, it had basically been under the sand trap. It had nevertheless so much philosophy, so much ideology. It had power at its side. Mamata Banerjee might have had, but otherwise, no joinees of the Trinamool Congress later from the Congress or the other parties always tried to take the benefit and stage the better of their, the side of the beneficiaries. And we proved there's no doubt of it. These two defectors, Nitabrato and Sandipan. Sandipan has a long legacy. There is no doubt of it. I had worked with his father. He was an MLA. He was a councillor, senior councillor. So for a long time, his mother was a councillor. So
But
that is
Chandan, I
one
want to
side. But
understand.
Rito Broto, if you are going to talk about,
Right.
who has been switched from CPIM, as you know, communist background, finally never joined the other party, and finally he is trying to defect. So I don't think that kind of, the kind of spice in him, spark in him, that can be trusted in Trinamool
No, but
Congress by
Chandan, what
itself.
is
But
your
there could be
reading?
some
Chandan,
feeders.
Chandan, what is your reading? Is there a genuine rebellion brewing within TMC against Mamta Banerjee? Because what we are reading is that basically the divide in the party is more and more exposed because of because of the appointment of the leader of the opposition. Do you see that this is a genuine rebellion brewing against Mamta?
It is surely so. As I told you, that is what it is. because whatever or whatsoever projected after taking the charge of Bengal in 2011, later on, principally it has deteriorated and it looked only on numbers 2016, 2021, or whatever the parliament elections during this time. But gradually, the party has been completely lost out to the corruptions, nepotism, anything you say which can really be cause for the defeat of the election has been decaying in Trinamool Congress system since last 10 years. People have realized, but it had really taken up so much so after 2022-23 and taking on. So this is the moment where Trinamool Congress faces this. And the most part of the defeat of Trinamool Congress to be blamed on the complete insensitive, insincere leadership. I retaliate once again, insensitive, insincere leadership of Mamata Banerjee. She knew everything. Everything was going around her. Everything was happening around her. She had encouraged the dissent. She had encouraged the other side too. And that is what it happened. Abhishek Banerjee did not fall from the sky. He was projected. He was projected against the party seniors' will. There had been a lot of conflicts. So ultimately, they all were, to accept Abhishek Banerjee's leadership and the so-called corporate, the backups, just because Mamata Banerjee wanted. Even after knowing that most of the party seniors and most of the party ground workers were not accepting or were not in favor of this kind of, the solutions or this kind of leadership solution. So naturally, that had apparently fallen when the thing came so close for election. So finally, they couldn't manage. And there had been another thing that you understand that Mamata Banerjee or say the old Congress girls who joined Trinamool Congress, they had their own career in the contribution in the field of the politics. They had fought so desperately against the communist regime 34 years since 34 years, and many of them were from the beginning with the Congress. Later on, joined Trinamool, so they had some fighting characters developed and created trust in the system. But ultimately, 2011, and then after the leadership came, like Abhishek Banerjee 2014, finally took up the mantle and to rule the other part, those who had really sacrificed, had really created rift. And that had not only created rift among the Trinamool workers, but also in general, the general mass. So they had lost their trust. So Mamata Banerjee, last of all, I tell you, Mamata Banerjee has suffered trust deficit by her own party colleagues and the supporters. So that had resulted in the election in a way that she had been completely blind on Abhishek Banerjee and she had lost all her calculations to do the best in the election that she fought. So that was not the same Mamata Banerjee as we have found her.
What I'm seeing is that Mamata Banerjee is not talking about this rebellion which is engineered by the BJP. So called, this is alleged that the rebellion is engineered by the BJP, but still Mamata Banerjee is not talking about it. Today there are stories of how she's protesting against the post-poll violence and other issues. But why is she not talking about this rebellion within the party which is engineered by BJP?
It is very clear BJP, you can blame BJP. There is, new example, Operation Kamal. We had experience of splitting our party and in Madhya Pradesh, as you know, and there had been Operation Kamal in case of Maharashtra, but there had been the power towards. It was not the power, sustaining. It was not they sustained in power and they detained in power and they were doing this thing, by splitting opposition parties. It's not that. But it is a different situation here. If you are going to blame BJP or accuse BJP, or if you are going to talk about BJP splitting the opposition space, then again I tell you that it is a different character as compared to Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra. Because they were not in power, and here there is in power. And then splitting the opposition space is not going to be splitting by virtue. It is going to be splitting by it is splitting the Trinamool Congress by itself. And for Trinamool Congress, it's already split. I must tell you, there are defections in Trinamool Congress is quite apparent. There had been so many sources even trying to reach to us. They are not trying to reach to us. They have reached to us
All
And
right.
we have already justified the untainted leaders are not accommodated in Congress party, that I can tell you. But the thing is here that some way or the other, the history repeats as she had, defected the Congress party, and this is happening the same way. But again, BJP might well be trying to split the Trinamool Legislative Party by having some of their groups in their favor, being the silent group. But I don't think they'll end up in their own party. I don't think.
Including comments to Chandan. Chandan, like what Shikha pointed out, who knows where these 34 Muslim MLAs might jump? What if they come to Congress? Will you open the doors? Will you welcome them?
It is certainly that this kind of speculation will go on, and certainly will work out on field. As I told you before, that untainted leaders are welcome, but then again they have to apply, and our senior leaders are going to decide on it. But again, I tell you, Trinamool Congress has carried this Congress as its surname. There is no doubt of it. The kind of the ideology Trinamool Congress never created, or thus it has never impacted us practically in the politics in Bengal, that it could really share the identity of Congress party in any case. So there would be fair chances for those people. I mean, those who what not particularly Muslims I'm talking about. I'm talking about on the whole to come back to Congress party. But again, we'll have to be very serious and sincere to restrict those untainted leaders. Yes, all welcome, but otherwise, tainted leaders are not allowed. That is our party. The decision clearly messaged out to as you know, to the defectors or whatever you say. This is very clear. I can
All
tell you
right.
this.
So the excitement in Bengal politics doesn't end